Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different and actually bring something back. Before we did a lot of meta tier lists and started switching up, but then I kind of stopped it because I felt like there wasn't really a whole lot to cover. But then I'm pretty sure Yabuski in chat said, or suggested rather, to do a Nano Boost tier list. And you know, since we're in the middle of our unranked to GM Ana only challenge, you know, why not go through it? And that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be basing it off of general use, and I'm also going to kind of explain each one as to why I think they're kind of decent or why they're not good at all. I might shift things around at the end, but without further ado, I think it's time to get into this. I do not want to go for too long. I want to make sure that I'm keeping you guys not using up too much of your time. So let's get into this. So honestly, Ana's just an S tier Nano Boost. I mean, whenever you have to Nano Boost, I mean, come on. S tier Nano Boost in Deathmatch, totally worth it. Now, if she ever actually gets the chance to Nano herself, I think it has its values. I'm going to say if she ever actually does have to Nano herself, I'm going to put it at C tier or maybe low B tier for now. The only reason why is if she gets Dove, she now has the Nano for herself, which can really make the game just abysmal for a Winston or a Genji or anyone that wants to dive her. Will they ever do that? I doubt it. But it would still be a pretty cool idea. But I'm just going to rip it off right off the bat right there on a B tier. Ashe, I think, is probably one of the worst nanos in the game, in my opinion, just because she doesn't one-shot to the head anymore. A Nano Dynamite's pretty strong, though. And Nanoing Bob's actually very, very good. Just to really create pressure. So I'm gonna put Ashe C tier. I might put her higher. But the thing is, going into this, I feel like I'm going to put people a little bit too high. So I want to make sure that I'm trying to keep it as middle of the pack as possible. Baptiste. I'm going to put Baptiste D tier. I don't think he's quite F tier. The problem is you're never really going to play with Bap, but Nano Bap is decent. But I just don't think you're ever going to be playing Ana with a Bap unless you're like literally one-tricking Ana and unranked to GM. But I do think Bap can clean things up. I just think there's generally better nanos on the field, but it's not super bad. The idea of nanoing your other support when Genji blades doesn't really apply to Bap because he has an immo. Now, if he doesn't have immo, you can nano him and he can get away quite easily. But again, it's just not as practical. Bastion, I'm actually going to be putting above Ashe. I might put him B tier. I'm trying to think here. I think Nano Bastion, when you're playing him on the cart, is very, very strong. Problem is, outside of that, it's like not really that worth to play Bastion. But here's the thing, it's not whether or not Bastion is worth it, it's whether the Nano is good. And I think Nano Bastion is extremely strong. The problem is that it's very kiteable, meaning that they can get out of his LOS relatively easily. But the thing is when you're forcing them to fight cart, I think it's very strong because they have to walk into it then, and then it's just a GG's. I might put it a little lower, but for right now, that's where it's going to stay. Brigitte, I want to put it S tier, but she's not as good as she once was. I think Brigitte A tier, because she is a menace when she is nanoed. She can be very aggressive without rally. She can, again, nanoing to stop a flanker from pushing that. I think nanoing Brig honestly slept on. Back in the day, it was really strong when Goats was a thing, but I don't know how much stronger it is now, because obviously you're going to be nanoing the Winston a lot more. I might bump it down to a B tier. I think it's top B tier, low A tier is what Brig's looking at here, because you can take space extremely easily, and you can really deal damage as well when you're nano this Brig. I haven't done it in a bit, just because when you're playing on a Brig, you're generally playing double bubble, so you're going to want to be nanoing different targets. Doomfist, I think, is an S tier nano. It makes his ult useful. He can be extremely aggressive. It completely complements his character with just better damage, and you can take more damage because you're damage resistant. I think it directly influences Doom as a character. It is a very strong nano. It helps him really do his job. You can't really ask for a better nano than that for a base character. I think Doomfist is a very, very strong base nano. Ooh, D.Va's a little hard. I'm going to put her a little higher on the list. I think D.Va's top B tier. Because she's not like... Here's the thing. When you're playing D.Va, you're also going to have a Winston or a Ryan usually. So you're going to really be wanting to nano them more, but nanoing a D.Va isn't bad if she has jets and micro missiles. Like, she's still a menace. But usually when you're pairing characters with D.Va, there are better nano targets, which is why I'm going to put her top B tier. And I don't know if you guys hear this thunder. It is crazy outside right now. The sky's falling down in Pennsylvania. Jeez. But anyways, moving on here. Echo is another one of those characters, very solid. I think top B tier, low A tier. The thing is, Echo is just so strong. It's literally raining sideways. All right, anyways, I think Echo is a very strong nano. Right click, just everything about Echo's kit. You nano her, she's going to be extremely viable. The reason why I might put it B tier is just like, she doesn't really need it because you would have a damage boost anyways, where you would maybe want to nano a different character instead. The thing is, nanoing Echo is still like extremely viable and you're going to do it a lot. So I think it's kind of in the middle there. It really depends on the situation. And yeah. So Genji Nanoblade, it's survived for years. It is one of the only reasons why Genji is a decent character. I'm a little biased as well because I love running Nanoblade. I think nanoing Genji is probably the most optimal target in the game. So I think that's enough said. There's probably more practical nanos, mostly because Genji's not really that great. But yeah. First F tier here, gonna go to Hanzo. I think nanoing Hanzo is near useless. Unless you want to, maybe build dragons faster, but that should never be an issue. And Storm Arrow is good to maybe bust down a tank. But, like, why not just engage with nano with someone else? I think he, rightfully so, should have the F tier nano slot. Junkrat's gonna join him too. If Aquamarine ever sees this, here's the thing. Aquamarine doesn't need the nano. Again, maybe damage. I don't think mine's actually one-shot if they're nanoed either, because then they would one-shot if you were pocketed. So that's not even a thing either. It's just useless. You're still killing in 2 shots on all squishies. It's just not needed, you know? I just think there's better nano targets. Oh man, Boostio. I think Boostio is really slept on, but it's still a D tier. The problem with Boostio is that while Nano Lucio can actually tear up and do some work, it's not as practical as other things. And the thing is that the nano locks onto him when you're not actually targeting him because of nano sensitivity way too much, which can get rather annoying. But I really think the main reason why I actually might put this C tier is because nanoing a Lucio to get beat when there is a blade on him is a very viable option, making it a lot better than some of these other nanos. But yeah, I digress. Let's keep going. Nanoing Kree, I think, is another B tier option. It really depends on the comp, though. Because if you're playing Brawl v Brawl, you're going to want to nano the Rein. Actually, I'm going to put it above the D.Va. I think it's very high B tier, if not low A tier. I might move him up later. The thing is that if you're running Brawl against Dive, he is like the best nano target because they can't really do anything about him. But besides that and the new hit scan nerfs, I just think nanoing hit scans, it's not as strong as it once was because the damage fallout kind of sucks. But I think Kree is a very solid nano, not for his high noon nano, because I don't really feel like that's ever really the best option unless he's getting shot down and you heal him real quick. I just think there's better opportunities, personally. Jeez Louise. I might elaborate that more later okay, deep breath. I might elaborate on him more if I decide to move him up, but other than that, we're going to keep him where he is. Nanoing Mei, there used to be the anime, like, that's what the combo was called. I just don't think it was ever that great. I think it's better than Ashe, but, like, Mei doesn't need it right now. I don't mind it, because if my Mei wants to get aggressive and she gets low, I think nanoing the Mei is fine. I don't think it's better than any of the ones we have above it. It might be more practical than Bastion, but that's more practical because Mei's just a better character. So moving on. Nanoing Mercy. I'm gonna put it above BAP, below Lucio. Here's the thing. I did it in the unranked GM series on Numbani. I think nanoing a Mercy if she needs to res is really good in overtime situations, but besides that, it is not worth it. And I think, here's the thing, D tier, it has a use, but it's incredibly niche, you know? Honestly, a slept on nano combo, I love doing this. I'm probably biased because I love playing with Nolan. I think everyone gives him way too much flack. But Nano Cole in the back line is extremely scary. It is not something that you're going to run a whole lot because Ana and Moira paired together is not good at all. But the fact that it is a combo that exists that only uses 2 support ults, I think is pretty strong. You could argue that you put it below BAP, but I don't know. I just want to shout out the boy Nolan. He's crazy. Okay, but anyways, nanoing Orisa. I'm gonna put it above D.Va. Because if you're running Orisa here, you're probably on Orisa Hog with the Ana. And the main thing that you really want to do with your Orisa is to force them to walk into you, nano, Uno reverse. Now she's an artillery cannon that just rolls everything. Not even an artillery cannon, she's a sentry turret pretty much that can walk around and just roll things. I wasn't super into it when Orisa first came out, but when you play with players that are playing Orisa with better aim, it's a lot more menacing. Especially when they're shooting at a Rein. Like, that guy should die easily. But yeah, let's move on. Pharah, Nano Barrage is really strong. It's not one of my favorites, though. I might move it up. I think I'll move it up to S tier, because it's something that you're always looking for. Thing is, with Nano Barrage, and just Nano Rockets in general, it's very strong. I think we're starting to see kind of a correlation here with hit scans are not as good with Nano as they once were, and now projectiles, because of how much damage they provide, getting that extra 50% is just kind of crazy, unless it's, well, Junk and Hanzo. But I think Nano Barrage, now, since the barrage actually lasts less as well as, like not as long, is very strong for the character, and Nano Barrage can keep her alive and deal the damage much quicker. So you're making sure that the Pharah kills fast and does not die, so that she can continue doing work after the Nano Barrage ends, and she just is nanoed with normal primary fire. Reaper, I don't think it's as good as it once was, but Nano Blossom is fantastic. It tears through teams. I used to play with Symmetra back in the day on Xbox, and this was like the climbing combo. Just having your Reaper teleport in the backline, they have no idea where it is, and then engaging with the Nano Blossom, it was like 4 kills every time. Because unless the D.Va has an insane reaction time and can eat it, it's probably not going to happen. He's going to rip through the backline. Do I think it's an S tier? No, not even close anymore. But I think it's definitely up there. Reinhardt is one of the most practical nanos in the game, but I don't think... Here's the thing. I think it's better than Doomfist. Maybe Pharah actually put up here. Because here's the thing. When you're playing Doomfist, you're probably going to have a Rein, and nanoing a Rein is usually better, unless you're literally playing for a Hackfist comp, in which you probably wouldn't even be running a Rein anymore. But here's the thing. I'm still a little hesitant because it's not as strong as Winston Nano. But it's still really, really strong. I think Nano Rein, it's so staple at this point. S for staple. S for staple. I think that's really I think that's just the thoughts right now. S for staple, A for, like, pretty much a staple, but not as much of a staple as other things. And then, you know, you go from there. Hog, I'm going to put bottom A tier or top B tier. Probably top B tier. Just because there's going to be a lot of characters that take these top 2 slots as we keep going here. Things with Hog, Nano Whole Hog used to be really strong. It still is pretty strong. But the big thing, I think, is getting your Hog hooked into the enemy team. Nanoing him, he hooks Hog, kills Hog, then Whole Hogs. The whole Uno reverse tactic, I think, is really, really, really good. Again, it kind of scales with how high you are in ranks because people can kind of see it coming. But I still think it's also just nanoing a Hog when he hooks a tank Like, if he hooks a Rein, nanoing the Hog, that Rein's definitely going to die with the combined damage potential of your team, and then your Hog can whole Hog after that. Or he can just keep tearing through teams. I think Nano Hog, underestimated, really strong. We go next. Sig, I think, is the worst nano out of all of the tanks. So much so that I'm just going to put it above Mei and C tier. I mean, if he's going to get run down on, yeah, you can nano the Sig. But there are just better nano targets at that point into your comp. I don't think it's a bad nano. Like, here's the thing. The bad nanos are kind of cut off at D unless they're very situational. I don't think they're terrible nanos for the Sig here. But there's just, look at the sea of options up here. There's just so many better options. I used to really like Nano Visor. I think it's a bottom A tier, top B tier. If they have no shields, it's great. The thing is, they're going to have shields or DM most of the time, now that there are 2 new shield characters in the game since release. So, again, kind of situational. I'm actually going to put it below Kree. Just from how situational it is, it's just not as good as it once was. There's so many steps that you have to go through to get it done that it's almost not worth it anymore. But here's the thing. It still has its use, and when it is the best nano target in the given situation, it will tear through. That is why it is not C tier or D tier. That's why I'm probably going to put a B tier below the Kree a little bit. Sombra, I think, is an okay nano. I think it's better than Mei. The thing is with Sombra nano is you're really just playing to build EMP. You're not really playing for pick potential, because Sombra is usually played with someone that does better pick potential, like the Tracer anyways. So I don't think I need to say much more about that character there. Symmetra is a really hard one. If she's level 3, really strong. Besides that, not that great. But I think I can say it's better than Ashe and Mei, and maybe even Sombra. Because when you're playing a Sombra, you're usually playing Lijiang, where they're playing Brawl or Double Shield compositions, and Symmetra will tear through those on level 3 nano. Almost so much that I'm going to put it at C tier. Top C tier. I think it definitely has its use. It tears through. The use is just not common. I really like nanoing Torb Overload. I think it's better than Bastion. These other ones are probably better. But Nano Torb Overload, when they try to dive a Torb, it's such an Uno. It's like the Hog thing, which is an Universe. Just usually there are better nanos than a Torb, but I still like nanoing Torbs. Excuse me. I think Nano Tracer, S tier, easily. One of the best nanos in the game. Tracer can do crazy things with a nuke, which is Nano Bomb, Pulse Bomb, or just running around in the backline. A Nano Tracer is scary. It's a staple. It's something you do a lot. In the new Double Bubble playstyle, you're playing to enable your DPS more. That is an avenue of doing so. Widow, easily the worst nano in the game. There's just no use. There's so many better options. She's a standalone character. That's the thing. There's kind of a theme here. If the characters can kind of stand alone, you don't really need to damage boost. You don't need the damage boost there. Winston, right below Genji. Honestly, yeah. I mean, in terms of sheer power, Genji's better, but in terms of like the reason, or in terms of like how often you're going to use the nano, it's definitely going to be on Winston. The thing with Winston, he takes space by jumping in, and jumping in is very scary because you can take a lot of damage, obviously. But the thing is now when you nano the Winston, not only does his jump do it in a crazy amount of damage, his cleave also does even more damage. It's just so much survivability, so much damage, that the whole point of his kit is to make space, just like any other main tank, and now with nano, he does it so well that it's just scary. Especially when you can bubble an Ana, you can bubble the BAP Force Immo, you pretty much just get your win condition, and you can just do it whenever you want. Definitely the only nano that's behind Genji. The thing is, it's so unpractical to have a Genji Nano Blade, but the thing is, when you do have Nano Blade, you are going to nano the Genji over the Winston, hence the reason why he's above. Ball, I think, is an okay nano. I think it's better than D.Va, not as good as Orisa. Actually, that's a lie, because if you're playing Orisa ball comps, you're going to want to nano that ball. The thing with Ball is that Sure, Slam does a lot of damage. It's kind of the same thing as Winston. You're just doing it for survivability. The problem is that Ball already has that built into his kit, so he doesn't really need the Nano. Like, for example, then why wouldn't you just Nano the Tracer when she engages with the Ball to keep the pressure going? Why not Nano the Echo? I digress. Zarya, I'm going to put top A tier because charging a grab is really, really strong after you break a shield and Brawl. The thing is with Zarya is that you can do so much in terms of ult economy with that Nano that it is very, very, very useful. That's all I can really say with that. I mean, a high charge Zarya can melt through a team, but so can a Wine. I think the whole name of the game with nanoing a Zarya is ult economy, or if there are no shields and it is just you versus like 4 people on a Brawl and your Zarya is a max charge, nanoing the Zarya can definitely swing that fight if the Zarya is competent. And that leads us with our last character for the tier list today, and that is Zenyatta. I'm going to put it below BAP. I honestly might put it F tier. Not so much. I'm only going to put it here because the thing is nanoing your Zen is only useful if your Zen needs to get trans and he is about to die. Thing is, that's so much better than nanoing these other 2 main supports because they already have survivability built into their kit. These are support ults that you need to have online. I think the niche situations, these are very, very solid nanos. When I'm putting stuff in D tier, these still all have their own unique uses. It just depends on the situation. So much so that I actually might put Ashe F tier just because Dynamite's all she's got. But it's still really strong because Dynamite does carry fights super, super hard. If the Nano Dynamite is huge, but you have to trust that this Ashe is going to hit it. So I'm actually going to put this. I don't know. I like having these all D tier because it's kind of this concept kind of makes sense for everything. But yeah, I think this makes sense to me. These are pretty much the characters that I'm looking to nano. Yet I think B tier up are like the most solid nano targets that you can look for, and you can see you have a lot of options. You just have to kind of look at the situation you have and then react based off of the situation. I've been saying a lot on my streams when I'm doing Unranked to GM, so be on the lookout for streams if you're still struggling with this concept, even after this explanation. Ask questions down in the comments below. I'm totally down to help you guys all out. But to keep the video short, I appreciate all of you for watching. But until next time, I've got a peace out and Paz out. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.